For today, to factor the difference of two cubes. Yesterday was the difference of two squares. Today is the difference of two cubes. This is the general form of the difference of two cubes. And no matter what you have, it all boils down to the same pattern. You have a cube minus a cube. And when you go back to factor that out, you're going to have two quantities. One is going to have two items, and the second one is going to have two. If you can look at a problem and figure out what the cube root is of this term and this term, you can use this pattern here to do it really quick. So you come up with a minus b, and then the second half, a squared plus ab plus b squared. This general form is more difficult to understand than it is to actually go do one and understand the steps. Here's a list of cubes that you'll need to know. For example, 1 cubed is just 1, 2 cubed is 8, 3 cubed is 27, 4 cubed is 64, 5 cubed is 125, 6 cubed is 216, 7 cubed is 343. If you understand that chart, then these problems are going to be a lot easier to figure out. Also, if you can work backwards from that and realize that the cube root of 343 is 7, cube root of 216 is 6, cube root of 125 is 5. If you can do that, then these problems will be much easier. If you ever get to something and you don't have your chart, you don't know if it's a cube or not, you can do what's on the next page. If you run across a number and you don't know if it's a perfect cube or not, then do this. Let's say we had 216 and we didn't know it was a perfect cube. Type in 216 into the calculator, hit the caret button, left-hand parenthesis, 1 divided by 3, right-hand parenthesis, and then enter. What do you get back? 6. So that means it's a perfect cube. What if we had this? Type in 500, caret, parenthesis, 1 divided by 3, and then enter. What do you get back? 7.94 rounded. That means this isn't a perfect cube because you came out with a decimal. So remember these keystrokes here, the number, caret, and then in parentheses 1 divided by 3, and that'll let you know if it's a perfect cube or not. On this problem, first you have to check to see if you do have a difference of two squares. And check the first one. X cubed. The cube root of x cubed would just be x. Since it has a cube symbol on it, then it's got to be a perfect cube. So you just put down x. You put down x and then minus. Now the cube root of y cubed is y. So there's your first set of parentheses. Then for the back half, to get that, you have two plus signs in there. And to get this first part, you have to square this part. Whatever's here, square it. X squared. To get this part here in the middle, you have to multiply these two together. XY. And then to get this last part, you have to square this. Y squared. So your final answer is x minus y, and then times the quantity x squared plus xy plus y squared. Example number 2. 8x cubed minus 27y cubed. Check to see if you have a difference of two cubes first. You do have a minus sign. Is 8 a perfect cube? Is x to the third a cube? What about 27? And y to the third? So you can do this. Here's your first quantity. Put a minus sign in it. What is the cube root of 8? 2. And what's the cube root of x to the third? just x. Because x to the third is the result of x times x times x. That's x to the third. What's the cube root of 27? 3. And what about y to the third? Y. Alright, so you have that part. Now on the back end, 2 plus signs. To get this part here, you have to square this. 2x squared means you're going to square the 2 and the x. So what should I get? 4x squared. And then for the middle part, I have to multiply these two together. 6xy. And then for the back part, I have to square this. 9y squared. There's your answer. Practice number 1. B to the third minus C to the third. The cube root of your two items there are B and C. Put a minus sign in there. 2 plus signs on the back end. Square this one to get B squared. Multiply these two to get BC. And then square that one. The cube root of x to the third is x. The cube root of 64 is 4. And now go to the back end and square this one to get x squared. Multiply them together to get 4x and square this one. On this example, you have 2 items in each term. So the cube root of 8 is 2, and of a to the third is a, and then of 125 is 5, and then b to the third is b. So then you go back and square this one to get 4a squared. Multiply these two together, 10ab, and then you have to square this one, 25b squared. The solution for this one, the cube root on the first half is going to be 2ab, and then minus 7. Then go to the back side, square this to get 4a squared b squared. And then the middle term is 14ab, and then 49.